Today, we have a very special guest, my friend Wout Lombaert, all the way from Belgium. He is my brother from another mother. We are in the same mentorship program, and I'm glad to have him on today's episode. Wout specializes in meditation, and today he's going to be talking to us about how we can use meditation in our lives, whether it's to conquer our business goals, our professional goals, or our personal goals. Meditation can help us in achieving that. And if you have any additional questions, go ahead and drop them down in the comments because we're going to be doing a follow-up video very soon. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Well, if you can give us a quick introduction about yourself, where do you live, why you decided to get into meditation, and what's your favorite parts of meditation?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Wout. I'm from Belgium. It's a very deep question to ask me what got me into meditation and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mhm.
It's got a lot of strings tied to it. But how to explain? Yeah. Meditation and all these kind of practices are practices that bring you inwards and that create a state of peace if done right and more understanding about yourself. And I went through a very rough childhood with my mother committing suicide when I was 12, then going through a lot of problems in high school. Let's call them problems. It was a very difficult time for me. And I was destroying myself with drinking and going out and all kinds of stuff.
Mm.
And at a certain point, I realized this can't go on like this. And I saw I needed to do something. And through Elliot Hulse, I found bioenergetics and meditation. I started practicing, and one thing led to another. And from doing therapy groups, I went to go meditate in a few monasteries, and I started doing vipassana meditation. It's a 10-day meditation where you meditate 8 hours a day, don't
Yeah.
speak 10 days. All these kind of things. I started meditating 1-2 hours a day, and I found it to be very helpful for finding out what this life is all about. Going inside and finding a peace in yourself you can't find outside of yourself. You can find all the money in the world, you have big cars, big house, but one day you're gonna die. And when you die, what do you really have? And meditation is a way to go inside and find a peace that can be taken away. A focus that nobody can take it from you. And that's what I was searching for a long time, something that's mine and nobody else can take. And meditation is something in which you can find that state of tranquility inside that can't be taken away. And so it's just one part of many things you can do for gaining gaining in life, to become a better person. You can do a lot of things, but I think meditation is the only thing that really forces you to really are. Like you can't run away. If you're sitting on a cushion with only yourself, you can't run away. You're there and you're facing what is there at that moment. So yeah, that's why I do meditation and why I think it's very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. That was very powerful. It's funny because it sounds like we have like very similar backgrounds. With I also grew up in it wasn't the best neighborhood. It was kind of rough when I was a kid. It sounds like meditation is a very powerful way to do that as well. where you can meditate and you can look inward, so you can avoid these traps or these distractions that life sometimes throws at us. So I think that's very powerful. Thank you very much for giving us that great introduction. How old were you when you barely started meditating? How old were you, and how long have you been doing it so far?
Yeah, I started when I when I was starting meditation. Started with yoga actually,
Hmm.
and then I found meditation to be very helpful. I found a very easy technique, and I still practice that technique mostly. And
Hmm.
it's that technique I would advise to everyone to start with. I'll be explaining it later.
Okay.
And I was very lucky, I think, I found that technique because I had something to focus on. It was breath counting. Um,
Hmm.
and I could see the improvements in my concentration. It was very bad before my concentration. After some time of practicing, I could really see the improvements in my focus, my energy levels, and how I was perceiving the world. So after,
Yeah.
yeah, I think now it's 6 years I meditate. It's periods more and periods I meditate less. Sometimes it's been the most extreme periods I meditated 3 hours a day.
Hmm.
Um, like now it's I think I do 2 hours of um, yoga practices a day. So that's
Hmm.
breath work, concentration practices, and meditation, but not full on meditation. I think maybe 20 minutes a day or something, uh, and at this time. But
Hmm.
yeah, through the years it changes, but I've never really stopped. Always, sometimes it was for a period 5 minutes a day, but the most important thing is that you start it and keep doing it. It's something
Hmm.
like going to the gym. You can go to the gym and lift one time 150 kilograms. It won't do anything. Like
Yeah.
maybe fuck up your back or something. But if you, yeah, if you go every week
Hmm.
for 2 years, then you will see big improvements. If you do it for 15 years, you will be a different man.
That's
So with
true.
meditation, it's really the same thing. It's training the mind. They can see in studies when they look at brain scans, they can see after 2 months of daily meditation already big improvements in the way the brain works actually. But
Yeah, man.
the improvements become bigger and bigger with time. So it's not something you do a few times and then stop or do only once a week. Every
Hmm.
day is quite important. If you meditation, there are other things you can do, like breath work. If you do it only sometimes, it still has benefits. Meditation, I'm not sure. I think it's very important to do it daily.
Yeah, definitely. That's powerful. I didn't know that after 2 months that if you do some brain scans, you started seeing a lot of improvements in the brain. It's kind of like everything, like in lifting weights. The consistency, the day in day out. You have to kind of just stay into a program and actually do it, so
Yeah.
you can see those
Right.
improvements. That's powerful. That's very powerful stuff. So as far as this has been one of my biggest questions when it comes to meditation. So like my understanding of like the practice is to reach stillness, to reach peace with inside of yourself, and to kind of slow down time and live like in the now, basically in the present. Is that like the premise of meditating? You want to reach stillness where anything that's around you doesn't really affect you, and you're living right now in this present moment, or is there some other type of advantages to meditating, or is there another objective when you're trying to meditate? Is it mostly for stillness, or is there other components that you're trying to reach?
That's a very good question. I think it can be answered on a lot of levels. So
Mhm.
I think I'll start at the highest level. The highest level is spiritual. Like meditation was created or is created in like almost every spiritual tradition, there's meditation. Like in the highest form of prayer in Christianity is silence, sitting in silence. That's the highest form of prayer. Then in Buddhism, it's meditation, sitting in silence. Hinduism, the same. And in that very high way of looking at it, it's like
Mm-hmm.
purpose is to connect with God, to connect with the universe, to become one with the thing that creates you. So, in that sense, meditation is a way to transcend normal life and become one with the divine. And that's how the traditions that created meditation, Hinduism and Buddhism, look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So you make the mind and the body so empty
Mm-hmm.
that it's actually a process of dismantling the ego, and then because you become so empty, God can come inside you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the highest level. But not everyone is into that, and not everybody wants to become an egoless monk.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just want, for example, more focus or be more in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, want to battle their depression. There are all kinds of reasons, and
Yeah.
for these other reasons, there are other types of practices I would advise more than others. I think the best system to look at it is the yogic system. In Buddhism, is actually really focused on how to say, it's only focused on creating oneness with life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a spiritual tradition. Yoga also in Hinduism, it's also a spiritual tradition, but they work with 8 steps, and in the 8 steps you have the asana practice. Asana
Mm-hmm.
practice is what they do in yoga. We know all the movements, sun salutations and stuff. What we see
Mm-hmm.
in the West, that yoga is. Then you have pranayama. Pranayama is breath work.
Mm-hmm.
Breath work it serves to create more energy in the body, open up the system, to heal trauma, to to make the body stronger and healthier from the inside out, and also create more concentration. Then the next step is going inside. After you opened up your system, you go inside and you feel inside what what is happening. So not you don't listen anymore with your ears, not looking with your eyes, but you go in, and then you start concentrating. And concentrating is the as a step is the sixth step is very important for people who want to, yeah, a lot of people want to use meditation to have more focus for their business, or to be, not necessarily to reach spiritual enlightenment. And
Mm-hmm.
if you want focus, then you need to do concentration meditation, and there are practices for that that really focus on making the mind single pointed, like really focusing and
Mm-hmm.
creating bigger and bigger focus. And then when you get that focus, the next
Mm-hmm.
step is to go into meditation. And meditation is something that happens when the mind and the body have become still, and you drop the focus, but everything stays empty, and there's only consciousness. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're actually meditating. When you're just still sitting, not moving, you see the thoughts passing, you see the feelings, but you're not interacting. That is what's meditation. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
That's it's very interesting how you put it in the perspective of like the different religions that we have, like Christianity. It can be prayer for Buddhism and Hinduism. Since it originated from those main religions, it's more of a silence. You're trying to reach silence and stillness with the universe, so that God can, you're basically like an empty vessel where God can come in and give you that connection with the divine, like you mentioned. That's very powerful, and I think that's one of the biggest benefits of meditation. That's what I try to reach every time I meditate and when I pray. So I think that's very powerful. And as far as you also mentioned, Pranayama breath work. As far as that, do you consider Wim Hof's breathing, like his techniques, is that part of Pranayama or is that different?
Yeah, I would call Wim Hof method like if you have pranayama, you take
Mm-hmm.
pranayama and you take out um or you take out like two techniques
Uh huh.
and you put them together, then you have Wim Hof method. But pranayama is much more than that.
Okay.
Like pranayama is a very big system,
Mm-hmm.
and Wim Hof, like no discredit for Wim Hof, he's really great. He knows a lot, and his technique is extremely powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But his technique is in yoga they call it the powerful yogic breath. It's like hyperventilating with your
Mm-hmm.
whole body, and then after that you breathe out halfway and you hold the breath. It's called kumbhakas in yoga. Kumbhakas is breath holding. If you do those techniques together, they are the Wim Hof method. So yeah, Wim Hof created his method by going into the water and the eyes, and but he also practices yoga. So he
Mm-hmm.
was influenced by yoga when he created it. He created the method.
Mm-hmm.
So I practice the Wim Hof method and find it an extremely beneficial practice.
Okay.
But I wouldn't only look at the Wim Hof method when you're looking at breathing because
Mm-hmm.
it's a really extreme method. It's
Mm-hmm.
really extreme. Um, so
What you know how Elliot Host, by anyone who doesn't know, in the who's viewing, Elliot Host is one of our mentors, and you know how Elliot Host always mentions bioenergetics. Would that be considered part of this technique, or is that more something? It's another type of meditation.
yeah, I have experience with bioenergetics. I did a few group bioenergetic weekends and stuff. I'm gonna start training next year to become a bioenergetic trainer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, bioenergetics is it's a totally different system. It comes from a whole other way of looking at the body. It's like it's William Reich. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then Alexander Lowen, they created bioenergetics, and but it's also a system that looks at the body as an energetic system. Like yoga also looks at it that way, and
Mm-hmm.
you use different movement and breathing techniques in bioenergetics to open up the body, to
Mm-hmm.
release trauma and tensions that keep you stuck in the conditioned form you came in. Like some people were bullied as children, and because they were bullied, their chest contracts and their shoulders drop down, and you look a bit afraid all the time. And those people can't come up if they don't stretch out the muscles. So, like, bioenergetics is a way to open up the body
Mm-hmm.
so you can live more freely. And that's also the directive of yoga. Yoga wants to first work on the body
Mm-hmm.
by doing stretches, then work on the body with breathing. And after the body is opened up and you're free in the body, you can start teaching the mind to concentrate. And when the mind is concentrated, you can start meditating. Well, where they in Buddhism, there's more the idea like the body doesn't matter. It's not as clear cut as that, but
Mm-hmm.
they they say just go directly in trying to meditate and like skip all the rest. But yoga is more a system of doing it in steps, like
Mm-hmm.
preparing the body and mind, and then when the body is prepared, you can start meditating. So it's a yeah, and bioenergetics is a way to also open up the body, create freedom. Uh, I find
But
it very useful therapeutic practice. Yeah,
mm-hmm. So bioenergetics would be more like of a, like you're actually moving, you're doing more like action movements, right? It's not really like meditating. It's different in that regard, right?
yeah, it's more like yeah, shouting and screaming, shaking the body, doing stretches, releasing. And then sometimes in the sessions I've been, they will do meditation
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, like, but mostly dynamic meditations. They were developed by Osho. Osho is a, yeah, I think you could call him a yogi from India. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he the Bhagwan, I think. Do you know him, Osho?
He sounds very familiar. I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of his videos.
Yeah, they also did like a documentary on him on
Mm.
Netflix where they really demonized him. But it's yeah, he had also dynamic meditation. So his perspective was, so that it also combines with what we're talking about. His perspective was that the Western mind is so conditioned that we can't meditate. We're,
Mm-hmm.
we're, we can't. We're just too fucked up. So we need to shake the body and scream and do all kinds of crazy things to break our patterns inside. And then after we did that, we can go into silence. So his meditations, I think, are 4 steps in which you progress from really heavy movements more or
Mm-hmm.
less to slower and slower and slower until you're meditating.
That actually makes a lot of sense, man. That like like the Western civilization now is very fucked up to the point that we can't like sit down for 10, 20 minutes and actually meditate. I think, and that's a great follow up to my next question is like for like, business owners, young adults that are, they're moving, they're probably in college, they're doing things and they're constantly on the move, especially over here in the States, man. You can see it a lot here. Like I live in Houston, Texas, but when you go to these big metropolitan cities like Dallas, New York, Los Angeles, Miami, everybody's on the move, man. Like everybody's like trying to do something. They're going from one place to another. In these cities, when it's, like it seems like life is moving so fast, what, like, as far as time limit, what do you think it's a good time for people to, like, if they had to stop and meditate, what would be like a good time? Would it be like 10 to 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes of meditation? What's ideal, like when you're trying to space in some time in like in a very busy day?
It's a good question. I think it's a combination of different things. Like, I would say, in my opinion, 10 minutes is like the minimum. It's like you can't do it less. I think five. If you do only 5 minutes, it's better than nothing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even one conscious breath is very good. But like, if you say I'm gonna start meditating, I think starting with 5 minutes and adding a minute every day until you have 10. And if you can't do more than that,
Mm-hmm.
keep it with that. It's like, it's great. 10 minutes. It's you have time to calm down and get in your body and focus the mind.
And as
I
far
also
as
think
like the longest time, like what's like if you can stretch it as long as you can go, what do you think it's, or what's the longest that you've done? Like the point that you can keep meditating, you just don't stop.
it's a good question. I think like the longest I've done is, I don't know. I think maybe an hour or something without getting up. Like an hour
An
maybe.
hour.
Um, the teacher I follow says 40 minutes. 40 minutes, 45 minutes, no more, because after that you start sometimes getting into a trance state. Like, you're not that focused anymore. You're somewhere between sleep and awake. It's like it's not that productive anymore because you're
Mm-hmm.
losing consciousness. Like, you're just like sitting and almost dreaming. So I think, like, if you want to push it, 45 minutes, an hour maybe, but I wouldn't necessarily do more. Like an
Mm-hmm.
hour session and then do a walk and do another session. That's possible. Um, yeah.
Nice. As far as like for like our entrepreneur viewers or like any business owners that we have watching the video, you mentioned that meditation can be very helpful for them so they can make maybe better business decisions, or so they can execute better processes in their business. What do you think are the biggest benefits for business owners when it comes to meditation for their business and for like their own lives?
Yeah. I think the biggest benefit would be that you become more clear. Like there come after some time of meditation, there comes a space between input and then decision. Like sometimes you react before you thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and with meditation, you learn to keep quiet. Like something happens, okay, it's okay, and it happens, okay, and then you create a longer time before you need to respond. So I think that's a great benefit because you deal with people in those contexts mostly, and then people sometimes are annoying or something, but you have more time to go inside and feel okay. Is it what is the best thing to do right now? What's the best thing to say right now?
Mm-hmm.
Also, like training the mind for focus with meditation, I think is very good to when you're working, be less distracted, like have a better focus on your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's something they see in studies when you're looking at meditation. You become less distracted. You also for like how you feel. You are less moved by life. Like things happen and you can it's easier to see them for what they are and
Mm-hmm.
to just keep continuing the way you are going, like without being blown off your feet because of something that happened. So I think those things are the most important things for people who are owning businesses, entrepreneurs. They need a lot of focus, attention, like some patience to deal with people and things like when you're in traffic, if you get really hyper because it's all going so slow and but when you
Mm-hmm.
start meditating it's oh nice I'm in traffic and then I
Mm-hmm.
can meditate now, I can practice now, and then I'll have time for something else later, and you're in the traffic jam, you meditate for 10 minutes and you're out
Yeah.
and no stress. I think
Re-
that's the biggest benefit. Yeah.
yeah, reducing that, definitely, man, reducing that stress. And you made a great point of communication, especially like when you're communicating with employees, you're communicating with other business partners, or you're trying to do business with someone else, and that communication of sitting still, allowing the input to come in first, and then make a better decision when you're actually going to communicate and express your ideas. I think that's powerful stuff. So that question was tailored towards business owners, entrepreneurs. So in my channel, I have a lot of guys that follow me that they practice MMA, like mixed martial arts. They do jujitsu, they do boxing, Muay Thai, some wrestling. I also have a lot of athletes that follow the channel, like baseball, soccer. As far as for athletes, like now we're shifting it to athletes. People that are actually out on the field and they're playing sports. They're in this competitive nature where they're trying to beat the other team. How can these guys use meditation to for that extra leverage? Like if their opponent's not meditating and they're not doing like these practices, how can these guys use that for their game so they can come out more competitive and they can actually win more matches or they can win more competitions?
Yeah, and something I would really advise to people who do like martial arts or any kind of sports actually is breath work. Like training your breath can influence your whole system. Like everything is like influenced by your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you can cause a fight or flight reaction, like just with your breath, if you learn to control that and you can calm down just by using your breath, you can like before a match create uh, an extreme amount of adrenaline in your body that you can use for the match. But you can also calm down when it's needed. Like some people, I also did martial arts when I was younger, and I did a few competitions, and nobody told me how to meditate or something. And
Um,
the people I saw there also, where most people are just like going around and doing all kinds of things and crazy, like,
Mhm.
you know, stressed before they need to do anything. But if you
Yeah.
do, you lose all the power. You're wasting all your neurochemicals. Like everything is going out because of
Mhm.
the stress. Then
Yeah.
you're feeling itch, and you need to put an extra layer on top of that to get to the same point. So if you would warm up a little, go sit down and calm your breathing, then meditate a little, and then it's your time, in 5 minutes or something, and you start doing very active breathing practice and really create a lot of energy, but
Mhm.
it's a silent energy. So you will be at peace, you will be focused. And then when you get on the mat, you will be awake, clear, and peaceful. And I think
Mhm.
that's the most effective way to do anything in life, like not being, yeah, everywhere with your mind. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
all in the mind. But most fights are won in the stare down. Like it's and if you are focused and clear, I think it's a big benefit. I wouldn't say meditation per se, like real meditation could be used for fighters. I'm not sure about that because it's a spiritual practice. Like monks in China and stuff do it, but they don't really
Mhm.
fight. They become monsters in their capabilities, but they don't use it.
Mm.
So I'm not sure. Like I think breathwork and concentration techniques are better than maybe if you go too far with meditation, you will lose a lot of your aggression and
Yeah.
your wants to win. Like I think after some time, really meditating a lot, you become too, how to say, you lose some drive.
Mhm.
Like, you can lose a little bit of drive if you really meditate an hour every day. You winning a fight doesn't matter in the whole game. Like in everything that's happening on Earth,
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter. So while if you have a lot of focus, like with other practices, I think that could be very useful because winning in sports is very much about being very aggressive, very focused, very
Mhm.
strong, and it's also a game about me. I think like me, I need to win this, not
Mhm.
not about the bigger spirituality of life. And so I think maybe if you could combine them, it would be very powerful. But I'm not sure how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the point that you made of being focused and cleared, I think that's where it's at, man. I think one thing I realized because I've done a lot of competitions in jujitsu, and I realized that it's more like if you have that focus going into the competition, you're just kind of like constantly thinking of it. You're zoning in, and it could be through meditation. You're constantly thinking, okay, like I have this competition coming up. I need to be ready for it. I need to be mentally there, and I need to just be on lock on that competition. I think that helps out a lot because, like you mentioned, a lot of fights are won in the stare down, and you can kind of see that. You can see how that's very truthful because there you kind of have like this, you can read the opponent's energy without saying anything, or just like the body language, or like the just everything about them. You can tell if they're ready or not for the competition. And once you one thing that I've seen also is that when you're actually competing, when you're in the competition, it's the guys that are like doing the most. They're trying to like get ready. They're like, they're trying to pump themselves up. That those are the guys that don't do the best because I believe they're already diminishing all of their energy, and then by the time it's ready to time to compete, they're like, they're running low on their energy, as opposed to the guy that's relaxed. He's kind of just chilling, getting ready mentally for the competition, and then he gets in there, and then he like turns it up like a switch, and then he's ready to attack. He's ready to perform. And those are the guys that I've seen have done like the best in a lot of competitions. But I think meditation is very powerful for that. Just like coming back to yourself and having that focus to what your goal is. So you don't get lost, because I think especially like in busy cities, or if you have a very busy life, you can kind of get lost in everything that's happening, that you don't come back to like that original goal that you have for yourself, or that that you're trying to accomplish something, and you need to have like that clear vision of how to get to it. So I think meditation can help you a lot with that.
Yeah.
um yeah,
Yeah.
but
I think especially concentration and focus is, I think, where we like could split off is, like, for me, meditation itself is more like spiritual practice, and then
mhm,
there are techniques to create focus and like become really strong. Like breath work is something that's really big with professional athletes right now. It's like a big thing,
yeah,
and it's because it's very efficient at what it does. It's like you can use it.
mhm,
Meditation is something that's hard to use because it happens to you. It's like you go sit and then you watch what's happening inside. It's a practice that's not it doesn't have such a big influence
mhm,
in the short term. Like with your breath, you always know you can control your state of mind.
yeah,
Um, and the meditation practice, it's more about experiencing what's happening inside than about influencing it, because you have no control. And that's what
mhm,
you realize with meditation. I have no control, but I do have control to watch everything and become still and sit here and not move. That control you have, but not about everything that's happening.
mhm,
While with breath work, you can really influence a lot of things. But the catch is that with meditation, what you create lasts, and with breath work, it doesn't. So
mm,
meditation, if you become peaceful and one with life, you stay peaceful and one with life, or
mhm,
that's the goal. Breathwork, you become peaceful after a session, but 2 hours later you were back with where you were before. Like,
mhm,
it's not always like this, and there's always, you know, sometimes it's like this for one person and another way for another person, but mostly it's breath work is a preparation for meditation and spiritual practices. And yeah, of course, if you're a good meditator and you're gonna do a fight and you go sit there and wait in meditation, I think
mhm.
that's very powerful. I just don't think you can use the meditation necessarily to to gain a big leverage. It's more like you use it to stay centered.
Mhm.
So you go in there with all your energy and focus.
Mhm.
The breath work can use to boost up your nervous system, to
Mhm.
to to have a better endurance. You can really use it to create what you want.
Yeah.
Like meditation is more about being okay what is.
Got you. Yeah, that's very like, thank you for clarifying that, because I think a lot of us get confused, especially like myself. I get confused sometimes in like what's helpful when it comes to meditation and breath work. And it seems like breath work can be better if you're trying to, get back to like in an hour or two. You're getting ready for a competition. You might have that competition in 1 or 2 hours, and you're trying to get mentally there. Breath work might be the best option at that point. And then competing, and meditation might be better as a build up, like the day to day. If you have a fight in maybe 3 months, like your cat, maybe you do like 5 to 10 sessions of like 5 to 10 minutes of meditation every day, just so you can kind of stay like leveled, and you're still in the moment, and you're getting like that connection with God. I think that would be powerful.
Yeah, and
Um,
when you train it, and
mhm.
then the moment comes you need to use it, you will have trained it. But meditation is not something you can do when you don't train it. Like, it's not
Mm,
someone who never meditates and then before a fight is gonna sit there. It's gonna be worse. It's gonna be
mhm,
worse. But maybe if that person does like 15 minutes of Wim Hof, they will be very, very calm and peaceful and focused.
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't train their meditation. But
Mm-hmm.
the breath always works for calming it down and creating
Yeah.
focus. While meditation is very strong in the long term, breathwork is very strong in the short term.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And as far as the time of day of meditating, when do you think is the best time to meditate? In the mornings, and during the afternoon, or in the evenings?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are different opinions about that, but
Mm.
it's mostly advised to do it in the morning,
Morning.
except some people are really not okay in the morning, then you could do it in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
I personally find it the best in the morning. Um, then also in the afternoon, I do it on my lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
I meditate. Sometimes I think it can be nice at every time, but if you need to put it in your routine, I think it's good to do it in the mornings because in the morning you wake up,
Mm-hmm.
you 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 process the day before in your sleep, and then you're an empty vessel, so you can really focus on the meditation. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's in the evening, maybe yeah, something happened at work and you had a problem with your girlfriend and this and that, and
Yeah.
you're sitting there to meditate, and all those things are gonna come through first, and
Mm-hmm.
then you will be able to meditate. But sometimes it's better in the morning, and then you also are primed for your day, like you have your focus ready and start your day. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's good to do. Like I personally,
Mm-hmm.
I get up at 6, I go in the cold shower, I go I drink one bag of tea for a little bit of caffeine, so I'm a bit more focused. I do half
Mm-hmm.
an hour of breath work, and then I do 20 minutes of meditation. But you could also just do like 20 minutes of meditation or 10 minutes, whatever
Yeah.
fits your schedule. But it's good to wake up first. Like if you just get out of your bed and start meditating, a lot of people just fall asleep. Like
Mm-hmm.
it depends
So
who you are, but
it's that cold shower, right? You have to jump in there and get that cold shower first.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that'll
I
wake
go
you up
nap out.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
So
Sounds good, Wout. So I know we're at the top of the hour, man. I wasn't trying to, take too much time, too much of your time. Um, but I guess to finish off, do you have like any of your handles, any of your social media where anyone here in our channel here at Conquer Mindset can follow you? They're more interested in your work. For me, it's fascinating work. I think meditation is perfect if you're trying to, level up and you're trying to get a better daily routine, better grasp in your life. But do you have any Instagram handles where our followers can follow you?
yeah, you can link it under the video if you want. It's Wout_Lombard. But I think most people won't know how to write it if they don't see it.
I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll probably put it. I'll probably put it here in the video, and I'll also link it below, guys. So if you want to follow my boy Wolt, go ahead and follow him. He's on Instagram. And so today, today we just want to do like the first part of getting introduction to meditation. And thank you very much, Wolt, because I think myself and all of our followers have a way better understanding now of meditation and how you can implement it into your life.
yeah. I think we're good. We'll talk next time about. I still have a lot of questions and I things to ask you and talk about. I think we match on a level. I don't know how to say it in English. Yeah, but
Uh, yeah,
it's like
definitely, man.
we have a lot of the same interests. I think. So
Yes.
yeah, but very nice evening for you. Midday, I think. How
Hmm.
what time is it? Yeah, what
It's
one.
right now. It's one. Yeah, it's one
One.
p.m. right now.
A nice evening for me then.
Nice evening for you. Yeah, so I still gotta. I'm still gonna be working, doing some stuff. But yeah, man, I completely agree too, man. I think we have a lot of similar interests, and I think we're both trying to get to another level.
Yeah,
And it's great that we got together, we linked up. I always say that your net worth is your network. So it's like the people that you work with and you have a lot of interest with, that's who's going to help you try to get to that level. So, thank you very much for jumping on the call with me.
All right, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Also, give us a like and make sure to follow us on Instagram at Conquer Mindset. I will catch all of you in the next video. Stay strong and keep on conquering. Peace.